I am so looking forward to showing you how to make my warm and cozy, soft ginger molasses cookies with white chocolate icing. They're made gluten-free with almond and oat flour, and they're naturally sweetened with maple syrup and coconut sugar without any refined sugar or white flour. They're soft and chewy on the inside and crispy on the outside, and the white chocolate icing adds a beautiful and delicious finishing touch. We're going to start by mixing together our sweeteners and our butter. We'll start with 2/3 of a cup of coconut sugar and 1/2 cup or 1 stick of unsalted butter, 1/4 cup of molasses, 2 tablespoons of maple syrup, and 1 teaspoon of vanilla extract. And then I'll go ahead and just mix these together until well combined. Next, I'm going to add 1 egg, and then we're going to mix this together just until it's incorporated. I can already smell that molasses, and it smells so good. Now we can add our dry ingredients, which includes 2½ cups of almond flour, 1 cup of oat flour, 2 tablespoons of tapioca flour or tapioca starch, and then I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of ginger, 1/2 teaspoon of cinnamon, 1/4 teaspoon of nutmeg, 1/2 teaspoon salt, and 1/2 teaspoon of baking soda. And we'll just dump those right on top. And then we'll just mix these together until they're well combined and we have a very soft cookie dough. Well, that looks perfect, and now I can smell the ginger and the cinnamon. And now you'll want to prep your baking sheet by adding a sheet of parchment paper on top, and I have found this makes it super easy for getting the cookies on and off of the tray. And it's also really convenient for sliding them onto your counter, and you can also use the parchment paper when you stack them in your fridge to store them. I'm going to use my medium-sized cookie scoop to scoop the batter right onto our baking sheet. And this cookie dough has the best consistency and is really easy to work with. And then once you've scooped all your cookies, you can go back and kind of touch them up with the tip of your finger if needed, just to kind of smooth down any high points and make them nice and round. But they will spread and flatten on their own as they bake. Well, those look fantastic, and they are ready to go into a 350-degree oven for about 11 or 12 minutes. Now we can make our white chocolate icing, and I really like using melted chocolate instead of refined powdered white sugar, because then you can buy the white chocolate chips that meet your dietary needs. And there's lots of great options available with different organic sweeteners. I'm going to go ahead and use some white chocolate melting wafers. So you'll need 1/3 cup of either white chocolate chips or the wafers, and you'll want to put them in a microwave safe bowl. Then I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of coconut oil. And then I'm going to heat this in the microwave in 20-second intervals until that chocolate is nice and melted. Now you don't want to microwave your chocolate for more than 20 seconds at a time, because then the chocolate can become overheated and then it will become kind of dry and brittle. So heating it in the 20-second intervals is ideal. After the first round of 20 seconds, you can see that it's just starting to melt. So I'm going to go ahead and stir this around and get it coated in that coconut oil. And then I'll put it back in the microwave for a second interval of 20 seconds. So after our second interval of 20 seconds, you can see that they're starting to melt. So I'm just going to keep stirring it and then kind of mash it with my spatula to melt down some of those larger pieces. There we go. Now that is nice and smooth. Well, here's a batch of cookies that I took out of the oven and then allowed to cool on my counter. And you can see how beautiful these are. They just have a really pretty round shape to it and just the right thickness. To apply the icing on top of the cookies, you could just take a spoonful of the chocolate and just drizzle it back and forth, or I found it's a little bit easier to pipe it inside of a little sandwich bag. So all you do is open your little snack bag or sandwich bag. I'm going to poke it inside of a jar just to hold it open for me, and then pour in the chocolate, and then lift up the bag, gently press out the air, seal the bag, and then I'm going to find that bottom tip and pinch it to move the chocolate out of the way. And then I'm going to cut off just a very small little triangle so I can have a very fine bead of chocolate. Make sure that doesn't end up in our chocolate. There we go. Okay, so our chocolate is nice and smooth, so it's going to come out fairly quickly once I flip this over and start icing the cookies. And you can decide if you want to do just a back and forth pattern, or if you want to do a perpendicular pattern, or you can swirl it, whatever floats your boat. Okay, here we go. So I'm just going to string it back and forth. Oh, that looks so good. This is coming out very quickly, so I can just keep going on each of the cookies. Ooh, this is fun. I feel like I'm doing Jackson Pollock artwork on cookies. Well, that was super easy, and those look so good. Now, if you're patient, you can put these out on the counter until that chocolate sets, or you can put it into your fridge to help the chocolate set a little bit quicker. Or you can just enjoy one while the chocolate is still nice and soft. That is so good. that is a burst of all those delicious flavors that you want in a ginger molasses cookie. I instantly get the gingerbread flavor coming in with the molasses, and the amount of ginger is just right so it's not overpowering. And that cookie just has the perfect texture. It's crispy and lightly toasted on the outside, and then super soft and chewy on the inside. And there's such a depth of flavor to enjoy because it's not overpowered with too much refined white sugar. Now, of course, these are a treat and you'll want to eat them in moderation, but I love knowing that I'm eating something with clean, natural ingredients that are going to leave me feeling good even after I eat it. And I know that all of my guests are going to love these cookies even if they don't have a gluten allergy. Well, thank you so much for hanging out with me today in my kitchen to make these cookies. And I've included a link to the full recipe in the video description below, and it's on my website, gentletummy.com. And I also invite you to like and subscribe to my channel. And if you know someone else who you think would love this cookie recipe, please share this video with them. And I cannot wait to have you hang out with me again in my kitchen.